So today we're going to be making savory falafel waffles with tahini sauce. Oh my gosh, say that 3 times fast. This dish is so filling, so satisfying, so many flavors, you're absolutely going to love it. Okay, let's get right to it. Very first thing you do, turn on that waffle iron. You want it nice and piping hot by the time that your batter is ready. You want a half a cup of almond milk. You want the unsweetened kind. Sweetened would make it a little funky, so don't do that. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice goes right in. Now you just leave this for a little bit. Now what you're doing is you're making a non-dairy buttermilk. It might look like it's curdling a little bit. It's supposed to, so don't worry. We're gonna start putting all of our dry ingredients into our mixing bowl. 1 cup of garbanzo bean flour, AKA chickpea flour. Now since garbanzo beans or chickpeas are the #1 ingredient in those fried falafel balls, we're gonna use the powdered version for the waffles today. If you can't find garbanzo bean flour in your grocery store, you can easily find it online. Next, we have a half a cup of all-purpose flour. Next, we're gonna totally raid our spice cabinet. We're gonna just go for it and basically grab most of what we have in that spice cabinet and use it in these waffles today. It's gonna be amazing. Starting with a 1/4 cup of dried parsley. That's right, a 1/4 cup. Really gonna work some magic in this recipe. Next, we have 3 teaspoons of cumin, 1½ teaspoons of onion powder. Next, 1 teaspoon of salt. Garlic powder is next, 3/4 teaspoon. 1/4 teaspoon coriander. We're also gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne. If you don't like spice, you can completely leave this out. And lastly, we need 1½ teaspoons of baking soda. Give this a nice stir. Once that's all mixed together, we can start adding our 3 wet ingredients. We're gonna start with that almond milk and lemon juice mixture. Yep, you can see it's curdled a little bit. 1 tablespoon of olive oil. You can also do canola oil, and if you do, make sure you do organic so that you avoid those GMOs. And the last one is water. Now I'm gonna start with just a half a cup of water. If we need to thin it out, we'll add more water. Give this a good stir. Look at that, a nice bright yellow color of that parsley and all those spices mixed in. And this is a nice thick batter. It would probably work as it is, but I think I'm gonna add a little bit more water. Go ahead and use the rest of that cup. If your batter does look a little bit thin with just a half a cup of water, then just stick with that. You don't need that full cup. And we want all of these ingredients to come together nicely and for that baking soda to do its job, so we're just gonna set this aside for a moment. In the meantime, let's make our tahini sauce. We'll grab a bowl, half a cup of tahini. Our next ingredient is lemon juice. You can do bottled lemon juice or fresh lemon juice with a 1/4 cup. We have 2½ teaspoons of garlic powder. We also have a half a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. That sugar just helps to round out the flavors a little bit. And last ingredient, 1/4 cup of either warm water or room temperature water. Give this a nice stir. That lemon juice adds a nice acidity, really helps bring a punch to the sauce. So delicious. Let's see how that tastes. Man, that's tasty. Nice and smooth and creamy, just like that. Now our sauce is ready. Put that aside. Let's make some waffles. This is nice and piping hot. At this point, we want just a nice thin layer of oil so that our waffles don't stick. This recipe makes about 5 waffles, so let's make our first one, shall we? I want this about 2/3 full or so. I may have filled it a little too much this time, but we'll see what happens. The worst that can happen is that it spills over. The next thing we want to do is add our vegetable toppings. Nice diced tomatoes, so gorgeous. Now you might be thinking, really, tomato on a waffle? Don't forget, this is a savory waffle. And these tomatoes will add a nice little variety in texture and flavor, a little bit of sweetness and juiciness. Same with the cucumbers. This is actually the perfect topping for these waffles. Do a quick check to see how we're doing here. These waffles typically take about 6 to 8 minutes to bake. Yeah, I'm feeling a little nervous about it. I'm gonna give it a little bit longer. Let's do our cucumber in the meantime. So I'm chopping this cucumber very similarly to how I chop an onion. If you haven't caught that video yet, be sure to check it out. All right, we have our gorgeous toppings. This will add some nice color to the plate as well. Let's check on our waffle. Yes, it didn't fall apart. I love it when that happens. Oh gosh, that's perfect. You want it nice and crunchy and crispy? Don't get in a hurry when you make these. It's totally worth it to leave it in there just a couple extra minutes so it's nice and brown and crunchy. Now, if you're making these for your whole family or if you want to make a whole batch before you eat your own, this is the trick on how to keep them warm while you're waiting. Grab a baking sheet just like this and line it with a cooling rack. Place your waffles on here and then place them in the oven on the lowest setting possible just to keep them warm. Okay, I have a nice bright, colorful plate. Let's give this a try. Take that nice, creamy, flavorful tahini that we made earlier. Give it a nice drizzle. All right, we have our tahini right across the top. Looking pretty beautiful. If you want your tahini sauce just a little bit thinner, just add a little bit more water and that'll do the trick. A little bit of the cucumber and the tomato. Going in. Oh man. Jeff is out in the garage working on his next dummy. I'm definitely gonna be calling him in here to try this waffle. In the house right now, I have to say, side note, smells amazing. These waffles are such a treat. It's the perfect meal to have after a long day when you just really need something simple but delicious and filling. This is your meal right here. So beautiful, so filling. I mean, this is the ultimate comfort food. It just sticks to your ribs, keep you feeling full and satisfied for hours. So delicious. If you decide to give it a try, please let me know what you think. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. If you'd like to check out more of my video recipes or tips or tricks of the kitchen, be sure to click right here. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe by clicking right here. And if you'd like to get instant notifications when I post a new video, be sure to click that bell.